How's it going, guys? So, I was actually following the Full Sail tutorial on how they make the cutscenes for the scrap systems. I'm not gonna lie, I can't get it to work. Basically, they show me to create nodes in here, but if you have the camera nodes, or like in this case, the player, he's in a different scene, and you can't really drag files from another scene into basically the other into the scene that you're trying to work with. In this case, into my level. So, is what I was trying to figure out is like, okay, well, how can I do this then? So I still kept the cutscene empty game object, but what I ended up doing is I duplicated the camera, and I named that duplicate object right here. I just moved that up into my cutscene, and I call it cutscene camera. So the idea is when this is active, this is actually going to be showing in here. In fact, if we hit play real quick, we should be able to see that it is looking into this area. Or actually, no, it'll still be attached to the player. That's my bad. Let me go ahead and just stop playing. Any day now, or not YouTube, but any day now, Unity. Okay, so we have the player, and as you can see, it is working because a player can run around and nothing is happening. So, yeah, it's definitely working, and that is a big plus. Is what I need to do, though, is I need to move it into this area, and I'm going to do that by simply, I did create a cutscene trigger, and basically what's going to happen is when this snaps in, this is when this is going to basically activate. So I want to copy the transform component. I'm going to go into cutscene camera, and I'm going to paste that component value. And I do not see it. Why do I not see it? There it is. It's a little ways out there, which is no big deal. So I'll just move it over here. I actually want it on the outside right here. And the reason why, because I'm going to be building something out here that will kind of like, be more, I guess, more awesome looking. So I don't actually know which way it is facing, which is really not cool for me. Let's see, I'm pretty sure it's facing this way. I can't really tell for sure. There we go. That's better. So yeah, it is definitely facing out here, and that's actually exactly where I want it facing. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to collapse this. As I stated in one of my previous videos, the reason why I copied it because it has the tag already set, it has a player layer set, it's got the post-processing layer. All these settings are the exact same as what's already on the camera. So in terms of graphics and visuals, you won't see a difference. So that's why I set that like that. Now is what I want to do. Originally, once you snap that in, this is going to activate, and then it'll basically like trigger the cutscene. However, is what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to center this. I'm going to center this right about here. Now you don't have to do this, but if you're going to have it where it snaps back to where the player's at, this would be the way to do it. I'm not going to do it like this, but this script right here will call on the camera. So this is already set for me, which is really nice. The only difference is I don't want this crap in here. I do not like this crap. So what I'm going to say is public game object. And this is going to be called cutscene cam. And it's what I wanted to do is once I start it, this is where I'm going to start the animation. And so actually I'm going to need a public animator. Okay. I want an animation, which animator is what I want. Anim. My mind went blank there. I'm going to say anim equals get component component type I'm getting is the animator component. And I'm actually going to say nm dot. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say nm dot set bool, and I'm going to start nm true. Now you could actually use this as a trigger. I'm just choosing not to. Basically, once you snap the fuse in my level, I want it to be where the camera instantly starts. That's the idea anyways. So once I've got that down, I'm going to say cutscene cam dot set active false. And at the start, I'm going to say cutscene cam dot set active true. Now the only downside about this is it'll run through this code, which means it'll actually start this animation process, but then it's automatically going to be set to false. And so the way to go about this is I'm actually going to do a coroutine, a numerator, and I'm going to say cut scene disabled. I'm going to say yield return new, wait 4 seconds, and I'm just going to probably play it for 3 seconds, and then from here I'll say cutscene cam dot set active false. Now you could call this in another method. So like one thing you could do is you could say public void disable cam, and then you could just simply say cutscene cam dot set active false. And it's actually probably a better way of doing it. So I actually think that's the way I'm going to do it instead of specifying a certain time. This way, no matter what length I make the animation in, it's always going to set it as false. Alright, so we have that. That's actually going to be right here. And so for the, well, I need to wait for it to finish its thing. Any day now, Scooter. There we go. So we have cutscene cam and animator. We actually don't need this here. In fact, we really don't even need this whole thing. Because what we do need, however, is this script on here. So I'm going to drag this script up here. This is going to be the cutscene camera. And then the animator is going to be on the camera itself. Or actually, you know what? I'm thinking this whole thing could be a cutscene. Yeah, I really don't want to do it that way, though. Yeah, I really don't want to do it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all these scripts on this. And so essentially I can actually animate this camera, and that's going to be the easiest way of doing it. I cannot type worth a hoot. Yeah. Problems. So this is just going to be called idle. Idle cam. Save. Then we want the transform. We're probably going to want the rotation. And so all I'm going to do is copy these. I'm going to hold down Control and press C. I'm going to create a new clip, and this is going to be called, I don't know, cam nm. So I'm going to go ahead and paste those. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to zoom out, and I'm just going to move this to about 3 seconds. And right here, I'm actually going to create a new event, and this event is going to be disable cam. So here's the advantage I have on doing this. Is basically, if I drag this anywhere on here, it's automatically going to call that script. So it will disable this camera, and it'll go right back to this. This camera will only become active when this becomes active. So essentially, this will become active, then the camera will read the script, And this is saying, go ahead and do this, which is start anim. So it'll play its animation, and at the end of its animation, it will hit this disable cam, which it'll set it back to false. And so that's the way I'm wanting to do it. So this cutscene game object will be active always, but this one will become inactive. So you'll only be able to play it once, which that's okay with me. I'm not too terribly worried about that. Is what I want to do now is I want to go to the cam anim, and I'm actually going to move it over here. I'm going to hit record. And so I'm just going to move it probably something like that. Let's see. Let me drag it through here. It's a bit too much. There we go. So I may actually go ahead and move this to 6 seconds. So see, that's actually why I created this. Oh, come on. That's actually why I went ahead and created the script to just simply disable it. Is so this way I can simply move it anywhere I want. And right here at the 3 second mark, I'm actually going to move this back so camera should kind of like pan around the lake. There we go. I like that. Okay, I'm happy with that. So from there, I want to go into the animator. This is idle. This is can anim, and we're going to create a new bool. Start anim. I believe that's what I have it called. Start anim. All right, awesome. So I'm just going to make a transition from here. This is going to be start anim equals true. I'm going to move this back just a little bit. There we go. So is what's going to happen... Oh, actually, I don't need exit time on that. So what's going to happen is once it gets to here, it's just going to automatically play can anim. So that's the idea of what's going to happen. In fact, we can shrink this down and hit play real fast, and we will see, make sure that that is what is going on. Is that what is going on here? Hopefully, with any stroke of luck. Okay, so I actually hit this pause button, so this way I could just simply unpause it. And I'm going to click on this. So yeah, that actually looks really good and smooth. And then it disables and it goes right back to the player camera. So that is exactly what I want. I don't know if that's quite the view I want, but you know, I'm going to be tweaking it because it is my level, and so I'm going to try and make it look as good as possible. As I stated earlier, I know it's just a lake, but I'm going to be putting something in here that the camera is going to be focusing on, which will be something of interest to show that, yes, you have definitely done this, because see, now this is working. But that's pretty much going to do it for this tutorial. I hope I showed you something new. So if you're having an issue with the full sales way of doing it, this is the way I'm going to do it, because it'll still give it the same effect. It'll still do exactly what it needs to do and everything like that. Oh wait, we actually have an issue down here. Let's take a look at it real quick while I'm still here. Okay, anim. That's a simple fix. See? Easy fix. And so, we also have one here in the cutscene trigger, which honestly, I don't even need the cutscene trigger. I just really don't. So, those errors are now all fixed just because of those simple fixes. But I'm hoping I showed you guys something new, so if you're having an issue, this is the way I'm going to do it, because lol. And yeah, I shall see y'all guys next time.